Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. Thank you for joining us.
I would know, Congressman,
I take that as a no.
You traveled to Venezuela to lobby
I take that as a no.
I haven't asked you any more questions,
It's the gentleman from Massachusetts.
I'm trying to get to my next question.
Could you speak a little louder? I can't hear you. 10 and 20 million immigrants.
Can you shut
the
up?
housing?
Can you shut up? What? All right, my angle in moments, and we'll have a lot more on that. But first, all right, the Trump administration, I'm sorry, but they keep winning. They're running circles around these people. Real progress in Minnesota tonight. Borders czar Tom Homan will be with us in just a few moments. They're tweaking their policy on the ground there. 700 federal officers are leaving the state to be deployed elsewhere. He's getting a lot of cooperation from local authorities. President Trump says it doesn't mean they're backing down. Don't think it for a second. 2,000 ICE officers still remain in the state.
Crime now in Minneapolis is down. Crime in all cities is down. And you know why it's down? It's down because of us.
Mr. President, speaking of Minneapolis, what did you learn?
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough. These are criminals. We're dealing with really hard criminals.
Well, the arrests aren't going to stop. DHS says Operation Metro Surge has already gotten more than 4,000 criminal illegals off the streets. I guess the Democrats wanted them in there. I don't know. Murderers, rapists, gang members, all gone. Of course, that's not going to make them happy. They were fine with those people roaming the streets. Remember, they're all prospective Democrat voters. And now Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey claims he's having constructive conversations with Tom Homan, but at the same time still wants ICE out of his city.
The continued presence of 2,000 federal agents in a city that only has 600 police officers is still not de-escalation. So we have been very clear that Operation Metro Surge needs to end. The restoration of peace, of safety, the rejuvenation of small local businesses throughout our city depends on one main thing, which is for ICE to leave, and so that continues to be our position.
Okay, he's telling you what he wants. He wants open borders, no deportations, no ICE. So a softer touch might make people feel better. He ain't changing one bit. And as for the restoration of peace, is that what he said? Well, we saw them ourselves when we were there. They have all these makeshift blockades by these masked radicals who are cordoning off parts of the city that regular people just aren't supposed to enter. And they're in the middle of the street checking IDs and license plates. False imprisonment? Yeah, that's false imprisonment. Before they even would let you through. So this isn't normal, and this isn't peace.
Can I drive? I got a red light.
So now we need permission to drive from these people?
Can you back up slightly and go right?
Yeah, I could. If you'll leave, I'll go right. Take you.
Okay, imagine if some MAGA types tried anything approaching that, okay? Oh, my goodness. There'll be real protests in the streets. Here with me exclusively tonight, Borders czar Tom Homan. Tom, well, you've been the man of the moment for more than a week now. Take us inside these conversations with Mayor Frey. I know they went, he went from telling ICE to get the bleep out of the city to having, I guess, constructive conversations?
Well, look, me and Mayor Frey, we're never going to agree on much. I mean, but we did have I got to understand, don't agree, understand what position he's coming from. But look, I don't have to talk in echo chamber. I need to talk to the people who disagree with us. That's how we find solutions. What makes them tick? Why do you think the way you think? And why do you think, releasing public safety threats in the public is a good thing? So we have to have these discussions. And actually, they've been pretty good with the governor and the attorney general. Again, we're not going to agree on everything, but look where we're at. President Trump, he had a demand, want local and state law enforcement to release public safety threats to ICE rather than, release them back in the public. It's safer for the community, safer for their officers, and safer for the alien. And we've achieved unprecedented success on this. I mean, we are talking to the vast majority of sheriffs who want to help us so those public safety threats don't get released. We have a great cooperation with the state on them taking our detainers. So this is making this, not only is this city safer, it's making it safer for the officers. And the drawdown wasn't just because of because where we're going with agreements. The drawdown was because I created a unified chain of command, so we stopped the duplicities, and we're able to get rid of some support staff that we didn't need because we got one chain of command. We also have depleted the target list. We've got over 4,000 arrests. We depleted that target list. We're doing the right thing. We're having great success at it. Well,
People are, I think, understandably skeptical on the right and many on the left, but the MAGA types say, like, don't back down. Mass deportation is what Trump ran on, and now it seems like we hear targeted raids, and so that it gives a lot of his hardcore supporters concern. Tonight, what can you tell us about that?
We're not backing down at all. I said today mass deportations will continue. And I said, no, if illegal aliens are not off the table, look, the normal footprint here is less than 150 agents. We got 2,400 boots on the ground here. And we're going to continue to enforce the immigration law. I'm out there tonight. We're forcing the immigration law. But we said from day one, January 20th, from day one, President Trump and I and other people in the administration said, we're going to prioritize the public safety threats, because that makes the most sense, because they pose the most danger. But we've arrested a lot of illegal aliens. Look at the numbers, over 700,000 deportations, which is a record for this agency. And 70% of those being criminals. I think that's a better stat than saying we arrested 700,000, deported them, and 70% were non-criminals. No, makes perfect sense for the safety and security of this country, because President Trump promised to make this country safe again. Mass deportations are here. They're coming. We're already breaking records, and we're not going to stop. If you're in the country illegally, we're looking for you. We're going to arrest you, and we're going to deport you. Nothing's changed.
Now, the left-wing media, Tom, you would not be surprised. They're also skeptical, but for different reasons. Watch.
The skepticism of Tom Homan's announcement today that anything, frankly, will change in terms of the posture on the ground, to me, is completely understandable because of who Tom Homan is and what his track record is. Tom Homan, in a suit and tie, has been talking about some of these very same policies from the very beginning of these raids, if not before.
They want open borders, Tom, and you're not wearing a suit and tie tonight. You look like the old days. It's the old days, Tom, tonight.
The bottom line, Laura, those people that question me, bottom line is, both under Trump 1 and Trump 2 and the Obama administration, I have overseen more interior enforcement deportations than any man since the Eisenhower administration. President Trump made a promise of mass deportation. I made a promise of mass deportation, and it's happening, and it's continuing happening for the next 3 years. We're not slowing down. As President Trump has said, worst first. But if you're in the country illegally, you're not off the table. But as far as Mayor Frey and Governor Walz, now it's time to do your job. I said we're not going to do any further drawdowns if the hate, the rhetoric, and the attacks on ICE, the impediment and interference doesn't cease. This is on you now. So you say you care about public safety. You say you believe ICE has a duty to do. You all say you agree with removing criminals. Now's the time to take some action. Do a public service announcement and tell these agitators to stop what they're doing, stop attacking ICE officers. They're not going to listen to me. I agree. I'm skeptical, too, that these agitators are going to stop. This is where the governor and the mayor can help with this message. Make their streets safe again. They say that we're causing economic chaos and disturbance in the neighborhood. No, it's the agitators that put up illegal roadblocks. It's the ones that attack ICE officers. So rather than having 6 officers at a site to arrest a bad guy, now we're going to have 6 more guys to perform a security detail to watch their back. So what would take 2 guys to do in the jail, it now takes 12 guys on the street. Now that we're in the jails, now the jails are helping us, rather than those 12 guys arresting that one guy, we got 2 guys doing it in jail. That releases 10 more guys to do immigration enforcement in the United States.
And Tom, the use of children in some of these anti-ICE resistance rallies. We have teachers that are leading, chants with children, bringing them out on the streets, holding signs, young kids screaming "Bleep ICE" in Northern California. You're seeing elementary school students involved in some of this. I wonder what your reaction to that is.
Why don't you show the funeral of Rachel Morin? Why don't you listen to the 19 minutes of Laken Riley fighting for her life? Not that she was, murdered, that for 19 minutes she fought for every breath, fought to survive. How terrified these young women were to be raped and murdered. How about that? How about we educate these children on President Trump's making this country safe again? How about we educate the children on the last administration? 500,000 children were smuggled in this country. They lost track of 300,000 of them, and President Trump found 145,000 of them. 145,000 children that the last administration wasn't even looking for. Why don't we talk about the 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl across that open border? Why don't we talk about the record number of known suspected terrorists across that border, or the historic increase in sex trafficking in women and children? Let's talk about that. President Trump's saving lives every day. The border is the most secure we have in the history of this nation. Less women are being raped. Less people are dying making that journey, and this country's safe again. Let's tell that story.
Tom, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.